Welcome to the Sociology Coach. Sociology provides us with lenses to understand society at different levels, micro, meso, and macro. When we look at marriage and parenthood, for example, these perspectives reveal how individual choices, group influences, and larger societal trends all play a role. Using micro, meso, and macro sociological perspectives and recent research, we'll break down the data and discuss the factors influencing family life. Hey there, I'm Dr. Medley Rath. I've been teaching sociology for over 20 years. I'm the author of Introduction to Sociology, and I run the Sociology Coach to help people like you make sense of the world. Let's dive in. Sociologists must decide what level of society they will focus their sociological eye on, first introduced in episode 1.4. Macrosociology looks at large-scale phenomena like economies and governments. Mesosociology focuses on groups such as social class and gender. Microsociology examines interpersonal interactions like family support. Sociologists choose their focus based on the questions they want to answer. For example, a sociologist might be interested in studying marriage. Using a macrosociological approach, they may begin by looking at the national marriage rate. If you love a good study resource, I've got a whole collection on my website. Go grab the ones for this video. Check for that link in the description. The marriage rate is the number of marriages occurring per 1,000 women in a year. The U.S. marriage rate has declined over the past decade, but expectations to marry remain high among young people. Most high school seniors still expect to get married, just at an older age compared to previous generations. Researchers link this trend to couples marrying later, which means fewer young adults are currently married, which drives down the overall marriage rate. Education plays a major role in marriage patterns. Let's explore how. Marriage rates vary by education level. In 1940, women without bachelor's degrees were more likely to be married compared to today. In 2022, women with a bachelor's degree or higher are more likely to be married than those with less education. Let's pause and think it through. How do macroeconomic factors and educational attainment influence individual decisions about marriage and parenthood? And how might social class, gender, or family support mediate these effects? Let's look at the chart again. The data is for women and girls aged 15 and older. So the chart alone likely reflects social change in a couple of ways. First, people are waiting until they are older to get married compared to the past. The average age at first marriage for women in 1940 was 21.5. It was 28.2 in 2022. This means that more first-time brides were younger than 21 and still in high school, or a recent high school graduate compared to today. However, high school graduation rates were also quite different in 1940 compared to 2022. High school graduation rates have improved. So second, most people graduate from high school today compared to in 1940. Today, most people aged 25 and older have a high school degree. In 1940, 24.5% of the population had graduated from high school. In 2019, 90.1% had. This brings me to my third point. The change in marriage rates by education of women is not simply explained by more people earning a college degree, though that is part of it. Only 4.6% of people aged 25 and older had a bachelor's degree in 1940. In 2019, that number was 36%. Overall, fewer women are marrying today. About 60% of women were married in 1940. Today, approximately 43% were married. In 1940, there was little variation in marriage rates between racial groups, but today those rates vary from a high of 58% for Asian American women to a low of 26% for Black women. In other words, the explanation for these changes is complicated and varies according to which groups we are talking about. However, remember that before worrying too much about declining marriage rates, that this data is based on women and girls aged 15 and older. Most people would agree that waiting to marry after the teenage years is a good thing for the couple and society. However, education is also a factor in marriage decisions. So let's talk about how college might matter. Young people today face more economic barriers to early marriage compared to young people in the past. For instance, wage stagnation and decline contribute to financial instability, leading many to postpone marriage until they feel financially secure. A college degree improves economic security, making college-educated individuals more likely to marry. Studies show that earning potential is a key factor in choosing a marriage partner. Some groups, however, still marry early due to social and financial support from their families. Education also affects parenthood patterns. Let's see how. As you can see in the figure, college-educated women are more likely to become parents after marriage compared to women without college degrees. Trends in motherhood outside of marriage have not changed much between 1980 and 2019 for women with less than a high school degree or women with a bachelor's degree. However, more women with a high school degree and some college are becoming single mothers more frequently. Overall, motherhood outside of marriage is more common for women of all educational groups. Further, a sizable portion of these single mothers are cohabitating or living with a partner as though married. In general, women with less education are more likely to have children outside of marriage. The data shows clear trends over time with college-educated women less likely to be single mothers. But why? Social class, gender, and education mediate the effects of economic factors and family support. College-educated women are more likely to become parents after marriage. Sociologists Fallon and Stockstill studied how women with elite backgrounds managed marriage and parenthood with their careers. Their backgrounds included having a degree from a top 50 university and higher than median income. The researchers found that these women felt social pressure to achieve professional success, marriage, and parenthood. They felt pushed into a condensed courtship clock to graduate from college, establish careers, get married, and become parents before they were 40. In that order. These high-income women have the economic means to provide for a child without being married, but faced pressure to still get married before having children. Some groups continue to marry at an early age. Sociologist Rachel Allison interviewed 45 married adults who were 18 to 23 years old and enrolled in college in Mississippi to understand their decisions at the micro level. These participants pointed to several factors as influential in their decision to marry early. Conservative Protestant Christian beliefs that oppose premarital sex, social support from peers, and financial support from their family. For example, middle-class students' decisions about whether to marry before or after college graduation depended on whether they would continue receiving financial support from their parents after marriage. Parental financial support reduced the risks associated with economic insecurity most young married couples face. Overall, people get married and have children for lots of reasons. However, education and economics profoundly shapes marriage and parenthood in the United States. Macro-level trends are influenced by meso and micro-level factors. What macro, meso, and micro factors influence your choices to get married or become a parent? Share in the comments. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.